Good morning, it is race day. I'm going to take you through what I get up to and show you every step of the way. First thing is breakfast, and that's porridge. Yeah, too many. So breakfast for me is porridge with almond milk and oats, and with it I have honey, chocolate spread, vegan chocolate spread, frozen raspberries, peanut butter, a bit of protein powder and cocoa powder. So yeah, that's my breakfast. It's tasty, do it in the microwave, it's pretty good. So we don't have to leave the house to go to a service course for another hour or so. So now's the boring bit, you just sit around, check your packing, and then we go later. Today is Super Prestige River Board. I've never done this one before, but I've heard it's quite technical, a bit of sand, and with the rain we've had over the last few days, I think it'll be muddy. Now we drive to the service course.
She makes them out of just wool, like just,
your mum?
Yeah, just like wool off of a sheep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she
No
like
way.
stabs them into these little mice.
It's me.
I was like,
Maybe it's harder to clean.
Your washing machine's made it all day.
So, Cameron from the future here, while editing. I'm just going to run you through kind of how we approach the practice sessions. So I get asked a lot about how we kind of practice the course. So the main reason why we're practicing round is so that we can get a good look at it and make sure that when we come to the race that nothing's going to surprise us and that we're riding everything as fast as possible. So in my head I kind of have 3 or 4 laps that I want to tick off. So the first lap is just a sighting lap. You just follow the course around and see where all the main features are. Then the next lap is a good opportunity to session things, so to stop and yeah, take a look at things, see if anyone's riding things slightly differently, and then on the third lap link all of that together basically. So riding everything nice and smooth, trying out the lines that you've been sessioning, and if there's any issues then you can stop again. So you see here, this is me trying to ride this off camber and then basically puzzling and working out whether anyone else is actually going to be able to ride it. And yeah, it wasn't rideable in the race, so it's important to know those and then be decisive in the race and get off when you should get off basically. Then usually on the 4th lap you pick the pace up a little bit more and try everything at a bit more race speed. Depending on how my legs feel will depend how deep I go in this. Sometimes if I feel like I need to open up, then I will push on a bit more and try and open up the legs, but sometimes you feel a bit fatigued and you want to just call it there. So that's the main idea of the practice, is to just to see the course, open up the legs and have a bit of fun as well. Buddy. So this is me actually trying to ride the sand. I didn't actually manage to ride it in the practice. Yeah, just trying to work out if it's actually worth it. And then after practice we head back to the camper, we take a shower, and then eat a little bit of food. Before practice, that's when we had our pre-race meal of pancakes and blueberries, which is awesome. Xenia makes them. And
Jesus Christ! Garner's broke the world record by another 2 seconds.
So yeah, now we come back to the camper and we pin our numbers, watch the women's race usually, see if there's any kind of decisive things that we should be picking up. And then it's while we're getting ready and just chilling. The mechanics are going through all the bikes, making sure everything's running sweet, cleaning everything. So we're getting ready to go on the turbo for our warm-up. So my warm-up is about 20-25 minutes. I start with 5 minutes of just good spinning, just trying to start the warm-up, and then I have a block of about 8 minutes of progressive kind of intensity. So you start about zone 2 and go all the way up into your race pace, finishing with a max effort, and then at the end I do 3 full max sprints to just open up. Then you change your base layer, grab some more kit, and then head to the race. We warm up and down the start straight a few times, and then we all go and corral behind the start.
Come on, Tom. Come on, Tom. Come on, Tom.
57, Cameron Mason.
So you get called up, they check your back number, they sometimes check the width of your tyres, and then you go and choose your place on the grid. So I take my final gel on the rollers. On the turbo we have Red Bull, good fuel for the race, obviously, with the caffeine and sugars, and then we're all ready to go. Chuck the jerseys and then we're ready to race. So just to talk you through what's going through my head really in the race, the first lap is always hectic. Where we are gridded, where I'm gridded anyway, basically in the middle of the pack, it's really rough, loads of guys pushing each other, lots of running usually, and yeah, it's hectic. So that first lap really, you just have to survive it, try and hold position, move up if you can, and then once the first lap is out of the way, then you can really start to work on picking up the places and getting into your rhythm. Riding sections like this really help. So yeah, as soon as you're on your bike and riding, you're probably saving energy. So that's always best.
Aan de overzijde aan de KBC-zone. Tom Pitcock, ja, misschien dat groepje gemist. Deze wedstrijd daar toch wel achter de voor Michael van Torenhout.
Come on, Cameron.
Toch wel een goed resultaat behalen. Hij is een West-Vlaming natuurlijk. Dan die kampioen die volgende week zijn Europese kampioenentrui gaan verdedigen daar in Italië.
So we're into the main part of the race now. I'm starting to get into my rhythm, starting to make up places, just on David van der Poel's wheel right now. Quite happy with the pace, and yeah, in a race like this you really have to just ride your own pace. There's so many on and offs that if you aren't relaxed and you aren't smooth, it will really take its toll, and you'll get fatigued. So just coming onto the back of the next group here, Pim Ronar's in this group as well, so some solid riders. And yeah, just as I say, finding your rhythm, finding your flow, and making sure you're as smooth as possible. A nice little bit of technique here is I had to dismount on the wrong side of the bike, but it's something we practice in training is dismounting on our non-preferred side, so that when we need to in the race, we're nice and smooth on our opposite side as well. It's funny watching the race back. Sometimes it looks like I'm not trying and I'm like, oh, I should be going harder, like I should be pushing harder, but you really have to be conservative with your effort sometimes, and on a course like this, as I say, you can't go into the red too much because you will pay for it in the later parts of the races, so you have to be smooth and choose your moments to push. So the sand section was relatively hard. It wasn't that decisive. I'm not the best at riding in sand, but I was finding I could ride a lot further than other people, so it saved my running legs basically, because as soon as you get off the bike and run, it really burns the legs. So I was running the last part of that sand section. So now into the next group, I've managed to get myself up a little bit further. You see the riders all strung out here together. yeah, you're kind of always fighting for a position and just making those little battles with each other just to push on. So into the sand again, and yeah, as I say, it's hard when you see the speed that Tartletto rider came up to my wheel. He just got a better line and held his speed really well. So we're probably just over halfway through now. Yeah, fatigue's really starting to set in. Right now it's pretty decisive to be smooth and to work on every little part of the course. I started shouldering my bike on that section as I felt I could run a little bit faster on that lower section, and then when I went to the high line I could put the bike down. Getting your feet back in was a real issue on this course. The sand and mud really got into your cleats, and kicking your feet back into the pedals was really important to get it good. Especially here, after the sand, getting your pedals back in, getting into a big enough gear and then continuing to push was really important. So you see here a good example of people getting fatigued. The Tartletto guy stacked it in front of me on the second hurdle. I was literally following his line, and as I bunny hopped the second one, he crashed, and so I had to put a foot down and just go around, but it wasn't too bad. But at that point I got into my rhythm even more, and on the sand section here, sometimes you just get it good, and I got it good and rode all the way to the top. And the fans were obviously happy with that. So going in, I think this is the second last lap now, so really trying to squeeze out the towel and just get everything out. I thought I might have been pulled out with one to go, but they let me go around for another one, so yeah, I did the full duration. My race was 1 hour and 11 minutes, which is very long, but that's what you get when you're 5-6 minutes down on Matthew. So I'm on just off the back of this guy in front of me, this Dutch guy I think, and I really thought I would have him on the last lap. I was really pushing, and I felt like I had a good measure on him. I was quite happy just sitting back and then choosing my moment to kind of move up. I did not get that very well. I lost a lot of speed there. But I did gain it on the hurdles just after. So still on the second to last lap, really just trying to push. There's a good line on the outside here that started to form that I could pedal through, and this line gives you more momentum basically to take you all the way back to the top of the hill. You can see I've started to kind of drop off the back of that Dutch guy, which wasn't great. So going into the last lap I had a lot of ground to make up. And on the last lap, I decked it in the mud, basically. Went around a left-hander and just fell into the mud. You can see my left hand is all muddied up, so I had to change my bike, and which ruined my flow a little bit. So yeah, just one of those things. Like the whole race, I'd ridden relatively smoothly with little mistakes. So yeah, I made a mistake on the last lap and paid for it basically. So last time into the sand, really feeling it now. You can see I get a little bit offline here, and yeah, I'm really just pushing through the pain here. I know I've only got another few minutes of riding to go, so yeah, just trying to push, and I did not ride on the last lap. A very slow dismount there, and yeah, unfortunately, as I jumped back on, my chain had unshipped. So yeah, bit of a sticky situation for the last few hundred meters, so I managed to scoot it over the bridge and along the finish straight. So yeah, bit of a tricky end to that race.
That's me done. I proper was dead on the last lap. But I had a solid race. I thought I had a quite good start, but I looked up and I was in like 40th or something, so I was like, oh, it's not quite as good. But it was a stacked field today, like Matthew's back and a load of good riders, so yeah, just moved up through the race. And then on the last lap I was just the last rider going around. Everyone else had got pulled, and so I was just like plugging away, and on the last lap I crashed, and then my chain came off on the finish, so I had to run the final straight. So it was just kind of just getting around, but yeah, very happy not to be lapped. And yeah, like legs felt good even after kind of, I felt fresh obviously after resting this week with the cold, and the chest was fine. Like, it was the type of course where you just kind of had to just take your time and go through the sections. So yes, very good race. Mick Tom was like 6th or something, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad for him, but yeah, all good.
So now after the race we do a little warm down, just 10-20 minutes just to spin out the legs. Yeah, and then we go inside and get a shower, and start the fueling process for recovery. So after the shower, get some warm clothes on, and then get food down. As Xenia made like a quinoa salad for me, and yeah, packing up the camper, just making sure everything's nice and tidy for the way home.
Hello.
Camper life. Can't see much, can you? It's a bit dark. So once everything's packed up, we hit the road in the camper back to the service course, and from there back to the house. So now we're back at the house. Usually we do our washing now, but I left my bag of dirty kit in the camper, so I'll have to do that tomorrow. But yeah, so now I'm gonna have some more food. After the race, I had like a quinoa salad, which was nice, that Xenia made, and now I'm gonna have some rice and tofu and broccoli as my kind of meal. So yeah, it's about 8:30 now, so not too bad, not too late. Let's get some food.
DJ Ryder is Sebastian Reichenbach, back, and he brings up a young Evan Bale who's riding.
That is pretty much me done for today. Just put the dishwasher on, tidy the kitchen. Yeah, can have some dark chocolate and then go to bed. Successful day. Tomorrow we have training and gotta do some washing and little bits about the house. But yeah, no, hope you've enjoyed today. Give you a little insight into the day of a CX racer. The result was good as well, which helps. But yeah, no, hope you've all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Which, yeah, if you want to know more about cyclocross racing, let me know down in the comments. I'll try and reply to as many comments as possible. If you're new here and you've made it this far, consider subscribing and give the video a like as well, because it really helps me out with pushing up the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, thanks for watching.